Good morning students. Welcome to offline classes for 10th standard. As we are discussing a chapter called How do organisms reproduce. In previous part 1 we have discussed about what is reproduction and why reproduction is essential in organisms and types of reproduction we have discussed. In today's class, we are going to discuss about some important modes of reproductions which takes place in asexual method of reproduction. So, majorly reproduction is divided into two different types. One is asexual reproduction and one more is sexual method of reproduction. Then in asexual reproduction, it means only single parent involved for production of new organism. But in asexual reproduction, it takes place in different modes. What are those? How it takes place? In which organism it takes place? Let us discuss one by one. The first one, that is a fission. The fission is also one kind of asexual reproduction. What is fission? The fission is an asexual reproduction by which a unicellular organism divides and forms two or more new individuals. So here, single organism, see here as you already discussed, asexual reproduction means only one parent is involved or one organism is involved for producing one more individual. Among them, the fission is also one of the example of asexual reproduction. Here, what happens? The single organism, it is going to break into two or more individuals. That is called fission. But in fission, it takes place in two ways. If one organism is going to produce two individuals, such kind of fission is called binary fission. Bi means a two. A single organism breaks into two organisms or produces two organisms, that is called binary fission. Or in case if it is going to produce number of organisms, a single organism is going to produce number of individuals, new individuals, such kind of fission is called multiple fission. So here fission is, there are two kinds of are there. One is binary fission and one is multiple fission. So here the multiple fission and the binary fission are the two example of fissions or two kinds of fissions. The binary fission takes place in amoeba and the paramecium. Example for binary fission is amoeba and paramecium. Whereas multiple fission example is plasmodium. Plasmodium already you might be heard this name. Plasmodium is it is an organism or the bacteria which is responsible for causing of malaria. So here this is about fission, the first mode of asexual reproduction. We will go for second mode of reproduction, asexual reproduction, that is budding. In this method, a bud-like projection is formed on the body of the organism. The bud then develops into a new individual. It then separates from the parent and forms an independent individual. So here is there, you just see there, it is an example here called hydra. This is an hydra. So this is an hydra plant. It develops a kind of structure on the body. This is called a bud. This bud, after maturing, it gets separates from the parent. This is entire is one organism. This is considered as a parent. This parent develops the structure called bud on the body, and later it develops into and develops, once it becomes mature, it's detached from the parent body. See here. So this is the first step, and this is the second step, and third step. It detaches from the parent body and comes out and it develops into new individual. So it is here the bud is going to become as new individual. So it is called budding. So here budding is takes place in example called hydra, and this is also one more example called yeast. So here this is a parent organism. It develops what one particular structure called bud, and bud it develops into what a new individual. So here this kind of mode of reproduction is called what a budding. Example for budding is what a hydra and a yeast. Okay, the third mode of asexual reproduction called a regeneration. In this method, a part of the body, if the organism if cut or broken, can develop into a new individual. So here this is what one more example called planaria. So here this planaria, the body part breaks up into number of pieces. Each piece develops into what a new individual. So this mode of, see here this part regenerate, the other part of the body get regenerate back. So this is a parent organism. This parent organism breaks into what, cuts into what pieces. Each piece, other parts get developed back. So that this mode of reproduction what we call a regeneration. So here is a one more example called hydra. So hydra, see here this hydra breaks into what two pieces. This other part regenerate back. See here the upper part regenerate back. So here the part which is broken, it again regenerates back. So that this mode of reproduction what we call a regeneration. Example for regeneration is what a hydra, planaria and a starfish. So hydra, it is an example for both budding and as well as for regeneration. So this is what third mode of asexual reproduction. If you go to the fourth mode of regeneration called a fragmentation. So here fragment means what? A piece. In this method, the body of a simple multicellular organism breaks up into smaller pieces. Smaller pieces are nothing but what? Fragments. On maturation, and each fragment develops into new individual. Here, so this is the see here. This is an organism. It breaks up into what a number of pieces or number of fragments. Each fragment is going to become as what a new individual. So that this is called what a fragmentation. Example here called spirogyra. So usually fragmentation takes place in what a simple multicellular organisms. Okay, so spirogyra is an example. So this is one example called spirogyra. So spirogyra which breaks up into what a number of fragments. Fragment means what a number of pieces. Each piece again it is going to become as what a new individual. So that is called the fragmentation mode. Okay, so this is what the fourth asexual mode of reproduction. If you go to the fifth one, that is spore formation. Spore means nothing but it is a seed-like structures are developed. Those seed-like structures again going to become as what a new individual. Here in this method, structures called sporangia produce a tiny cells called spores. When the spores come into contact with a moist surface, it develops into new individuals. So here, you just see here the example called rhizopus. So this rhizopus produces a structure called sporangium. This sporangium is a structure, it consisting of what? Spores. So spores are nothing but what? They are the seed-like structures. But they are not the seeds, but they are considered as what? Seed-like structures. Those seed-like structures, when they come in contact with what? Moisture, and they develop into what? A new individual. So this mode of reproduction what we call a spore formation. Example for spore formation is what? Rhizopus, mucor and penicillium. So this is what? One more mode of asexual reproduction. Next one is what? Vegetative propagation. It's very important method of reproduction. It is given vegetative propagation. Takes place naturally, and even it can be done by artificially also because of according to our needs. So here in this method, new plants are produced from a vegetative parts of a plant like root, stem or leaf. So here plants having some vegetative parts. So they are considered as what? A root, stem and leaf are considered as vegetative parts of the plant body. Those vegetative parts are going to become as what? Are going to produce what? New individual. So that this is called what? Vegetative propagation. Example here from the roots, dahlia, sweet potato. Here from dahlia and sweet potato we can able to grow what? One more plant. So potato roots if you take, and you might be see that with the potato, on potato there will be a small, if you keep for 2 or 3 days at home, and what happens, there is a small outgrowth cascade takes place on the potato. So that is what the body stem which is going to produce, the root is going to produce what? One more individual. Here the vegetative part of the plant body, potato plant, which is going to produce what? One more individual. So here the roots of potato, sweet potato, going to produce what? Sweet potato, which is going to produce what? One more individual. In normal potato you may see that the stem, the potato what we are eating, it's called underground stem. And stem you just see there in your home, the potato after 3 or 4 days it is going to produce small baby plant which is going to produce on the body of a potato. That plant that is what it is going to produce what become as what? A new individual. Here the stem, underground stem has become as what? Produce what? One more individual. So that the stem will become considered as what? A vegetative part. See here, vegetative part of the plant body is responsible for producing what? A new individual. Some stem, from stem, like see potato, ginger, and example for a vegetative part from plant body called stem. Example is what? Potato and ginger. From leaf, bryophyllum and begonia. So here plants produced by vegetative propagation produce flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from the seeds. It also helps in the propagation of plants which do not produce seeds like rose, jasmine and banana. Okay, so here the plants produced by the vegetative propagation produce flowers and fruits earlier than the fruit. So normally some plants which produces flowers, it takes some amount of time to produce what? Seeds like flowers and seeds. But when you undergo vegetative propagation, they will produce earlier than the normal time. So and it also helps in the propagation of plants which do not produce seeds like roses. So this can be, see some roses which won't produce any seeds. By undergoing vegetative propagation, we can produce what? A rose plant, jasmine plants, and even banana plants we can produce. Vegetative propagation can also be done artificially by cutting, layering and grafting. So usually some people they are running in nurseries. Nursery means what? The people they are growing some plants and they used to sell them for money. So that is called nursery. So nurseries they used to do what? By this method called artificial method, cutting, layering and grafting. So by this method we can able to produce the one more organism by using vegetative parts of the plant body. So these are the methods, different methods of asexual method of reproduction. Okay, in the next class we will discuss more about this topic. Okay, thank you.